Our topic is upper GI bleed. Introduction. Define as bleeding derived almost always from a source proximal to ligament or treats. Potentially life-threatening abdominal emergency that remain a common cause of hospitalization. Annual incidence 170 cases in 1 lakh per adult. Increase steady with advanced age. Slightly more common in men than women. Account for almost 80% significant GI hemorrhage. Mode of presentation. Hematemesis 50% due to vomiting blood. Indication bright red, significant bleeding, coffee ground, no active bleeding. Melena 80%, passage of bowel smell, black sow stool, presence in GIT for more than 14 hours. Hematochezia, bright blood per rectum, occult bleeding, no evidence of visible blood loss but positive microscopic blood. The symptom of blood loss or iron deficiency anemia, symptom of anemia, chronic bleeding. So these are the mode of presentation. Like hematemesis, melena, hematochezia, occult blood, symptom of blood loss, iron deficiency anemia. These are the causes, अलग types of bleeding. Common causes of upper GI bleed: no varicose bleeding, non-varicose bleeding, and portal hypertensive bleeding. तो नॉन वेराइसल ब्लीडिंग में क्या क्या होगा? पेप्टिक अल्सर डिजीज 30 to 50%, मेलोरी वास्टियर्स 15 to 20%, गैस्ट्राइटिस और duodenitis 10 to 15%, esophagitis 5 to 10%, arteriovenous malformation 5%, tumor 2%, other 5%. So these are the non-varicose bleeding. Another cause of upper GI bleeding, portal hypertensive bleeding, like gastroesophageal varices is most common cause, more than 90% presentation, and hypertensive portal gastropathy less than 5%, and isolated gastric varices rare. So these are rare conditions. These are common upper GI bleeding causes. Risk stratification. Not all patients with GI bleed require hospital admission or emergent evaluation. Several prognostic factors have been associated with adverse outcome, including the need for emergent operation and death. Can be categorized as either varicose or non-varicose bleeding. So varicose is a complication of end-stage liver disease, like CLD and complicated liver failure. Another is while non-varicose bleeding associated with peptic ulcer disease, another cause of upper GI. Higher incidence in males. Risk factor for morbidity and mortality in acute gastrointestinal hemorrhage. To calculate the risk factor, age more than 60 years, comorbid disease like renal disease, liver disease, respiratory insufficient, cardiac disease, magnitude of hemorrhage. तो magnitude of hemorrhage मतलब systolic blood pressure less than 100 on presentation, transfusion requirement, persistent or recurrent hemorrhage, onset of hemorrhage during hospital, need for surgery. So these are the risk factors for calculation of morbidity and mortality in acute condition. Several risk stratification scores have been developed to assist in identification of patients who require close monitoring and are at risk of bleeding. The two most common used tools are the Rockall score and laser used Blatchford score. And so these are the tools only most commonly used. The Blatchford scoring is used to predict the need for EGD in patient with evidence of upper GI disease, upper GI bleeding, and score has been validated to show the patient with a score of 0 or low risk. 0 or low risk. So these are scoring on admission risk marker. Blood urea more than 6.5 to 7.9. The scoring 2, 8 to 9.9, score 3, 10 to 24.9, score number 4, and more than 25, score is 6. Hemoglobin men more than 12 to 13, score number 1, 10 to 11.9, score 3, and less than 10, score 6. Hemoglobin in women more than 10 to 12, score 1, less than 10, score is 6. Systolic blood pressure 100 to 109, score 1, 90 to 99, score 2, and less than 90, score 3. Other marker, pulse more than 100, score 1, presentation with melena, score 1, presentation with syncope, score 2, hepatic disease, score 2, cardiac failure, score 2. So these are the marker, risk marker, batch scoring. Then Rockall score. Rockall score में एज लेस देन 60, 0 60 to 79 ईयर, 1 more than 80, 2. Shock, no shock, 0. Systolic blood pressure more than 100 and pulse less than 100 beat per minute. तो स्कोर है 0 इन shock. Tachycardia, systolic blood pressure more than 100 or pulse 100 beat per minute. The score 1 in shock. And hypotension, systolic blood pressure less than 100. Score 2 in shock. Comorbidity condition, no major comorbidity, score 0. And cardiac failure, ischemia, heart disease, any major comorbidity, score 2. Renal failure, liver failure, disseminated malignancy, score 3. तो इनिशियल स्कोर पर क्राइटेरिया है ना. डायग्नोसिस, डायग्नोस्ड Mallory Wells tears, no lesion identified, no SRS. Stigma of recent hemorrhage. इसको 0. All other diagnosis 1. Malignancy of upper GI tract, इसको 2. And major stigmata of recent hemorrhage known or dark spot only, तो इसको 1. Blood in upper GI tract, clotting and visible or viscous vessels, score 2. So these are the additional criteria for full scoring. The maximum score diagnosed more than 7 and maximum additive score after diagnosed more than equal to 11. Second, resuscitation. More severe bleeding, the more aggressive the resuscitation. Intubation and ventilation should be initiated early if there is any question of respiratory compromise. Unstable patients should receive a 2-liter bolus of crystalloid solution, usually lactate ringgers used. The response to the fluid resuscitation should be noted. Routine blood investigation, grouping and cross-matching is necessary. In older patient and patient with significant cardiac, pulmonary or renal disease, central lines and pulmonary artery catheter is must. Assessment of blood loss volume in ml, class 1 less than 750, class 2 750 to 1500, class 3 1500 to 2000, class 4 more than 2000. Blood loss in percent in circulating blood 0 to 15, class 1 15 30, class 2 30 to 40, class 3 and more than 40, class 4. Systolic blood pressure no change, class 1 normal, class 2 reduced, class 3 and very reduced, class 4. Diastolic blood pressure no change, class 1 raised, class 2 reduced, class 3 very reduced, class 4. Pulse slightly tachycardia, class 1 100 to 120, class 2 and more than 120, class 3 more than 120 is class 4. Respiratory rate normal in class 1, normal in class 2, raised more than 20 per minute, class 3, raised more than 20 per class 4. Mental status alert, thirsty, class 1, anxious or aggressive, class 2, anxious, aggressive or drowsy, class 3, drowsy, confused or unconscious, class 4. Targeted HB level equal to more than 7 gram per dl. The oxygen carrying capacity of blood can be maximized by administer supplemental oxygen. Frequently, these patients benefit from early admission to and manage in ICU. Blood transfusion. The decision to transfusion blood depend on the response to fluid challenge, age of the patient, whether concomitant cardiopulmonary disease, whether the bleeding continue, initially effect of crystalloid infusion and patient ongoing hemodynamic parameters should be the primary criteria. In general, the hematocrit should be maintained above 30% in older adult and above 20% in young, otherwise healthy patient. So in generally hematocrit should be maintained. Packed red blood cells are the preferred form of transfusion. The most commonly packed red cells are preferred. History and physical examination. Once the severity of the bleeding is assessed and resuscitated, initiate attention is directed to history and physical examination. The time of onset, volume and frequency are inputted in estimate blood loss. Clue regarding cause of acute upper GI bleed. तो मोस्ट कॉमन एटियोलॉजी ऑफ ब्लीडिंग मैलरी वेस्ट टीयर्स, तो लीडिंग हिस्ट्री मल्टीपल इमेसिस बिफोर इमेटेमेसिस, एल्कोलिस रीचिंग, ईसोफेजियल अल्सर, डिस्पेजिया, ऑर्डिनोफेजिया, GERD, पेप्टिक अल्सर, epigastric pain, NSAID, history of NSAID or aspirin. Stage gastritis, patient in ICU, gastrointestinal bleeding occurring after admission, respiratory failure, multiple organ failure, coagulopathy, varicose portal gastropathy, alcoholism, cirrhosis of liver, gastric antral vascular ectasia, renal failure, cirrhosis. Malignancy, recent involuntary weight loss, hereditary hemorrhagic telangiectasia, aorto intrafistula, non-aortic aneurysm. So these are some clues regarding to upper GI bleeding. The physically examination may also be revealing the oropharynx and nose can be occasionally simulate symptom from a more distal source and should always be examined. Epigastric tenderness, gastritis or peptic ulceration. The stigmata of liver disease including jaundice, ascites, pulmonary erythema and capitis medusae may suggest bleeding related to varices. So these are the physically examination of the patient. नेक्स्ट नॉन वेराइसियल ब्लीडिंग, तो इसमें है पेप्टिक अल्सर डिजीज, मोस्ट फ्रिक्वेंट कॉज ऑफ अपर GI hemorrhage, accounting for approximately 40% of all cases. Approximately 10 to 15% of patients with PUD develop bleeding at some point in the course of their disease. Bleeding is the most frequent indication for operation and the principal cause for death in PUD, peptic ulcer disease. So bleeding is the most frequent indication for operation and principal cause for death in peptic ulcer disease. Bleeding develops as a consequence of peptic ulcer, peptic acid erosion of the mucosal surface. The most significant hemorrhage occur when duodenal or gastric ulcer penetrate into branches of the gastroduodenal artery or left gastric arteries respectively. Peptic ulcer disease, this is the image taken by endoscopy. Half of major upper GI, mortality 6 to 10%. Chronic ulcer disease caused by exposed to acid pepsin, usually solitary. Size range 0.6 to 4 centimeter. Most common duodenum and antrum. Medical management: stop all ulcerogenic medication, non-nucleogenic alternative prescribed. Eradication of H. pylori and long-term acid suppression. H. pylori infection report in only 60 to 70% of bleeding ulcer. Recent data show that treating patient positive for H. pylori with eradication therapy reduce the risk of bleeding and obviate the need for long-term acid suppression. Hence, H. pylori eradication is recommended in all bleeders infected with H. pylori. Proton pump inhibitors reduce the risk of rebleeding and the need for surgical intervention. Therefore, patient with a suspect or confirmed ulcer should be started on proton pump inhibitor. Timing: patient with clinical evidence of GI bleeding should receive endoscopy within 24 hours, and while awaiting this procedure, they should be treated with proton pump inhibitor (PPI). Mechanical therapy: use of device that causes physically tamponade of the bleeding site, example hemoclips and bandage. May be particularly effective when dealing with sprouting vessels because they provide immediate control of hemorrhage. This slide shows Mallory-Weiss syndrome, longitudinal mucosal laceration, intramural dissection in the distal, esophageal and proximal stomach. Risk factor: alcoholic use, hiatal hernia. Diagnosis: suspected in patient with upper GI bleed and history of vomiting or itching. Confirmed by upper endoscopy. Clinical: acute onset GI bleeding, hematomesis, history of non-bloody emesis, itching, coughing prior to hematomesis. Managed: supportive endoscopy therapy, active bleeding, acid suppression in non-active bleeding. So these are Mallory-Weiss syndrome. Malignancy of upper GI tract are usually associated with chronic anemia or hemoccult positive stool rather than episode of significant hemorrhage. Occasionally, they may present as ulcerative lesion that bleed persistently. Most characteristic of GI stromal tumor, although it may occur with other lesions including leiomyomas and lymphomas. Treatment: although endoscopy therapy is often successful in control these bleeds, the rebleeding rate is high. Therefore, when a malignancy is diagnosed, surgical resection is indicated. Asia Pacific Guideline: the Glasgow-Blatchford scores (GBS) should be used in predicting clinical outcome of all patients presenting with upper gastrointestinal bleeding. Patients with a GBS of less than 1 can be treated as an outpatient. Blood transfusion should be restricted in the management of upper GI gastrointestinal bleeding. Platelet transfusion has no benefit for patients with upper GI gastrointestinal bleeding taking antiplatelet agents. Patient with hemodynamic shock and sign of upper gastrointestinal bleeding should be offered urgent endoscopy after resuscitation and stabilization. Endoscopic hemostatic powder spray such as hemospray is useful as a stopgap treatment in NV upper GI bleeding. Over-the-scope clipping device such as Ovasco are useful in treating lesion refractory to conventional endoscopy hemostatic therapy. Another is endoscopy treatment of delayed bleeding after endoscopy mucosal resection or endoscopy submucous dissection is similar to that for bleeding peptic ulcer. As a adjunct to endoscopy treatment, higher dose oral proton pump inhibitor can be used to prevent rebleeding. There are no special preference for a particular proton pump inhibitor when used concomitant with clopidogrel. Routine second lobe endoscopy is not recommended for patients after gastric endoscopy submucosal dissection. Among patients with high cardiothrombotic risk receiving antiplatelet agent, these agents should be resumed as soon as hemostasis can be stabilized. In patients receiving dual antiplatelet agent, at least one antiplatelet agent should be resumed in case of upper GI bleeding. Among direct oral anticoagulant or warfarin users with high cardiothrombotic risk who develop ulcer bleeding, oral anticoagulants therapy or warfarin should be resumed as soon as hemostasis is stabilized. Bleeding related to portal hypertension, Biveno fourth consider identify those patients with compensated advanced CLD who are unlikely to have varices needed treatment. ACLD patient with liver stiffness less than 20 and platelet count more than 1.5 lakh have a very low chance of having VNT. Hemorrhage related to portal hypertension is usually the result of bleeding from varices. These dilated submucosal veins develop in response to the portal hypertension, providing a collateral pathway for decompression of the portal system into the systemic venous circulation. They are most common in the distal esophagus and can reach size 1 to 2 centimeter. As they enlarge, the overlying mucosa becomes increasingly thinous, excoriating with minimal trauma. This is the picture of varix grading, no varix, grade 1, rare varices, grade 3 varix, grade 4, grade 3 only. Management of varices bleeding, pharmacological. Non-selective beta blockers decrease blood flow in splenic circulation by propanol 20 mg BD or 60 mg per day, maximum up to 160 mg per day. Nadolol 40 mg per day, maximum up to 80 mg per day. This is the pharmacological treatment for varices bleeding. And vasopressin analogous, vasopressin given as IV infusion due to short half-life. Terlipressin, longer half-life, can be given every 4 to 6 hours, safer. Somatostatin analogous, somatostatin can be used only in acute control because of its short half-life, given as IV infusion in a dose of 250 microgram IV bolus followed by 250 microgram per hour. Octreotide synthetic analogous 50 microgram IV bolus followed by 50 microgram per hour infusion. Drugs that decrease intrahepatic resistance to portal flow: nitrate, isosorbate mononitrate, prazosin, carvedilol, angiotensin receptor blockers. So these are the pharmacological treatment. Endoscopic technique, endoscopic sclerotherapy. Cyanoacrylate is used for gastric varices. Polymerizes and hardens within seconds after coming into contact with blood. Endoscopic varices ligation. Next modality of choice for endoscopic treatment of esophageal varices, and multiple season at 3 to 4 week interval are needed to achieve complete obliteration of varices, 2 to 4 season on average. Balloon occult retrograde obliteration of gastric varices. Coil embolization of varices. These are non-pharmacological treatment. Treatment before the first bleed. Treatment before the first bleed. The prognosis depends more on the degree of hepatic insufficiency rather than on the severity of the varices. Mild varices do not require treatment. Pronounced varices with a high bleeding risk can be treated medically with propranolol, which may be combined with 42 mg per day isosorbate mononitrate. Spironolactone in a dose of 100-200 mg per day can be considered as alternative to beta blocker. No endoscopic, operative or tips insertion treatment required. This is the treatment for before first bleeding. Treatment during the first bleed: pharmacological, terlipressin plus nitrate, balloon tamponade, Sangostein Blackmore tube for esophageal varices, Lenton Naklas tube for fundic varices. Endoscopy: sclerotherapy with polidocanol and Stocril, rubber band ligation, tips, operate treatment. These are non-pharmacological treatment. Treatment after the first bleed. Esophageal varices are ligate or sclerosed with polidocanol or stoacryl. A initial second look is scheduled approximately for 4 days after successful hemostasis. Further follow-ups are scheduled at 3 weeks, 3 months and 6 months. So these are the follow-up schedule. Treatment after the first bleed is continued. Esophageal varices are ligate or sclerosed with polidocanol. The slide is repeat. If the varices persist, sclerotherapy or ligation is continued 2 to 4 week interval with the goal of complete eradication. Small residual varices following primary ligation can be sclerosed. Propanol may also be given as an adjunct. So this is the topic of upper GI bleed. Thank you.